Hey everyone. Today we're diving into some of the most common literary devices that you'll come across in your high school studies. So first off, what are literary devices? Simply put, they are tools that writers use to create meaning, add depth, and make their writing more impactful. Let's start with two key players, similes and metaphors. These are all about making comparisons, but in slightly different ways. A simile compares two things using the words like or as. For example, her eyes sparkled like diamonds. Here, we're comparing her eyes to diamonds using like. Simple, right? And then we have metaphors. These also compare two things, but without using like or as. For example, the world is a stage. In this case, we're saying the world is a stage. No like or as needed. Now take a second and try coming up with your own simile or metaphor. Think of something around you and compare it. Next, let's talk about personification and pathetic fallacy. These devices give human traits to non-human things. Personification gives life to inanimate objects. For example, the wind whispered through the trees. We know the wind can't really whisper, but this device helps create a vivid image. And then we have pathetic fallacy, which is a type of personification when emotions are given to nature. For example, the angry storm clouds rolled in. Here, we're attributing anger to the storm clouds, reflecting a mood or atmosphere. Think about how weather in stories often mirrors the mood. That's pathetic fallacy in action. Next up is symbolism and idioms. These are all about meaning beyond the surface. A symbol is something that stands for something else. For example, a dove often symbolizes peace. It's not just a bird, it represents an idea. Then there's an idiom. This is a phrase that doesn't make literal sense, but has a known meaning. For example, it's raining cats and dogs. No actual pets are falling from the sky, but we know it means heavy rain. What are some idioms you've heard before? Leave a comment below. Let's move on to alliteration and onomatopoeia, two devices that sound cool, literally. Alliteration is when multiple words in a sentence start with the same sound. For example, the slithering snake silently slid. This creates a rhythm and makes the sentence more memorable. Onomatopoeia, on the other hand, is when a word sounds like the noise it describes. Words like buzz, bang, and sizzle bring sound to the text. Think of an onomatopoeia you hear every day and share it in the comments. Up next are rhyme and rhythm, two devices you see often in poetry. Rhyme is when words have the same ending sounds, like the cat sat on the mat, and rhythm refers to the beat or flow of a poem. For example, listen to this. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? The rhythm here gives the line a musical quality. Try clapping along to the rhythm next time you read poetry. Now, let's have some fun with puns and rhetorical questions. A pun is a play on words that's often humorous. For example, I used to be a baker, but I couldn't make enough dough. It's funny because dough can mean money or bread. And a rhetorical question is a question asked for effect, not to get an answer. For example, isn't it obvious? The answer is implied, so no response is needed. Got it? Of course you do. Now for some drama. Let's talk about short dramatic sentences and repetition. A short dramatic sentence is a brief, impactful statement like, then it happened. This leaves the reader in suspense. And repetition is when words or phrases are repeated to emphasize a point. For example, he ran and ran until he couldn't run anymore. This device helps build intensity. Feel the drama? Finally, let's talk about triplets and listing. A triplet is when three words or phrases are used together for emphasis. For example, I came, I saw, I conquered. It creates a powerful rhythm. And listing is when several items are presented in sequence. For example, she packed her bag with clothes, books, snacks, and shoes. See how listing makes it easy to remember all the details? That wraps up our literary device lesson for today. Now you're equipped to spot these devices in your reading and use them in your writing. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more lessons like this. And let me know in the comments which literary device you're most excited to try out in your own writing. See you next time.